Guys, so this is the market update for Friday, September 1st. Can't believe we are already into September, and market conditions right now just really, really awesome. If we take a look at, let's just jump over to CoinMarketCap. Obviously, Bitcoin broke out earlier this week, and we've been pointing out that resistance level around 4,500. I said, watch out for that break, and then you can see just a beautiful uptrend since then. Mostly green here on the top coin list, and the ones that are down aren't down a lot. If I kind of hate taking a look at the total market cap because it's kind of deceiving, because some of the coins, their market caps are not really real, but just to kind of show you, at least to get a gauge on market sentiment. I can just tell you guys, I mean, the general public is starting to wake up to crypto, which is a really, really interesting thing. Anyway, market sentiment, I would say, as of today, this is the most bullish general public market sentiment that I've ever seen. And whenever I start to see that, I start to get concerned. However, I have no idea where the top is in this market. We don't really know how crazy this can go. But I will tell you guys, now is the time that you want to be kind of dialed in. You don't want to just go on vacation for 2 weeks and forget about Bitcoin. Like, you want to check it. You don't have to obsess, and you don't have to get shaken out by every little move. And like Big K said, you don't have to be scared, but you want to be aware. You want to be dialed in. And so, again, market structure, there's nothing that I see yet that says that a top is in. One of the potentials that we've been looking at is a parabolic move. So if the market goes crazy, I wouldn't be surprised, like, if next week, so this is a weekly candle, if we had like a massive, like, I don't know, $1,000 to $2,000 week, and then maybe like a pullback after that. Now, the weekly chart is not so great for timing, because it's longer term, right? So if we go into a full-on parabolic market, Rocky and I are both in agreement with this. We're going to start taking a lot of profit off the table. So one thing that I'm watching over the next few days is the daily chart going to maintain a healthy trend, right? So to show you an example of what I consider a healthy trend is action like this right here. So healthy trend, it's not taking off, it's not going parabolic. Where things start to get a little extreme is like right here. So this is, and on this big reversal day, at the height of that was a massive green day, right? And we were actually taking profit into this parabolic move because it was going parabolic, right? So here, healthy trend. And then when it goes nuts, like we saw in late May, this is parabolic. Now, just because we go parabolic doesn't mean that the longer term trend is over. That's just a sign that a reversal for a few days could come in. So we could go parabolic and then have a deep pullback and then see bulls step in and the longer term trend stay in place. So that's just kind of what I'm watching for, is right here. Is this going to maintain a healthy trend or go parabolic? So parabolic is when price action speeds up relative to the prior trend, right? So let's say, we have a trend and and we have lessons in the curriculum about this, but and I won't spend too much time on this, but basically, we have a regular trend, and then the trend starts to speed up, and it becomes more extreme, meaning it's going up a much larger percentage in a shorter period of time. So it's kind of like, think of this as like an airplane, right? If you get into a jet, say you're in a 747, and you take off at a healthy elevation and angle and altitude, whatever. I don't fly planes, so I don't know the correct terminology, but let's say you take off at a correct angle, and then all of a sudden the pilot just jams back and full throttles it and just takes off to the sky. It's kind of like a rocket ship going straight up. Well, when you run out of steam, when you run out of gas, what happens is a lot of times you'll see this big V top, and it will catch everybody by surprise that wasn't paying attention. And then some people will look at the price 2, 3, 4 days later and go, oh my God, what happened, right? This happens in a bunch of different markets. It happened in real estate, happened in gold, it's happened in stocks, especially penny stocks, and it's happened in crypto several times. And so that's what I'm really just looking out for, is how far can this go? Nobody knows. So we're just going to be dialed in, over the next few days and weeks. We're going to be paying attention, and if we get an extreme move, obviously we're going to let you guys know, but I just want you to think about this and think about this potential. That way, if you wake up one day and say you wake up and you roll over, if you're obsessive like me, and the first thing you do is check the Bitcoin price, and you see something like this, and you wake up and it's $7,000 Bitcoin, where the prior day it was 4,800, that's a sign to take some profit. Now, the other option that you have here is just good risk management, and what that means is when we analyze a trend, as long as we're making higher lows and higher highs, and we're not snapping the prior day's high, that means the immediate trend on the daily chart is intact, right? So you can see that happen. Even though we had a little bit of a red day right here, it held the breakout level. I mean, this is just a textbook. I mean, it doesn't get any more perfect than this, which is why I tweeted, and I think it was probably like an hour before it broke out. I was like, guys, this is pretty much the most obvious breakout you could ever see. And then it broke out, hold the breakout, and now we have a couple days of continuation, right? So that's what I'm looking for there. And let's see. So we've got some parabolic action. Yeah, not so easy to see there, but definitely on Strat. Strat went parabolic. This is actually a perfect example. So down here, healthy trend, run retracement, run retracement, run retracement. Here it started to go parabolic, and then it actually held. And then look at in relation to this. So it took, let's see what this is. So it took from, call it mid-March to mid-April. So April, May. So call it 2 months to go up 1,000%. And then it took from here just a few weeks to basically go 5 or 6 times that prior month's gains, right? Do you guys notice that? Does that make sense? Do you guys notice the healthy trend there, and then where it starts to go parabolic there? Okay, awesome. Yeah. So the thing is like when it goes parabolic, it's hard to know where the high is going to be, but you can see what happens is like when it goes up parabolic, usually what happens is it gives back the parabolic move. That's why when it goes parabolic, you want to keep either really tight stops or scale out or just take profit at major emotional levels. because what happens is when it tops out, you get that initial crash, and then you usually get like a dead cat bounce, and then sometimes it crashes a second time really hard, and sometimes it takes its time. But you'll notice here, like what happened is it gave back the parabolic move. That happens, guys. I've seen this in equities. I've seen it in gold. Even if you look back at like real estate prices, like it kind of did this back in like 05 to 08. So yeah, guys, we're going to do some Q&A in a second. So let me just, I'm going to actually toggle off the chat real quick and get through the rest of the list. And then we're going to have some time for some Q&A. But the biggest thing that I just want to prepare everybody for right now is on Bitcoin, kind of the two sides, either a healthy trend where you do not want to try to pick a top and just, really let it work, or if we go parabolic, be prepared to take some profit, right? And again, I'm not a financial advisor. I'm not going to tell you what to do. I'm just going to tell you, Rocky and I are going to tell you what we do, right? And so I'm still holding about half of the breakout from 2,400, right, as we've been talking about for a few weeks. But if we go parabolic, I will be looking to take some profit, okay? So taking a look at some of these other ones. So CFI is one that is interesting, but again, with Bitcoin popping off, some of these newer coins are not going to break out as fast as, say, we saw in the spring. So I'm still holding about probably 10%, 10 to 15% of what would be full size for me. So we had a little breakout here. You can see it's holding up above support here. But again, I am over 90% of my crypto holdings are currently in Bitcoin. That's where my focus is. And some of these smaller alts are good to kind of look at and be prepared for, but this is not the season to be like hitting home runs unless you're being picky and you're holding, some of these longer term. Like if we look at USD on Litecoin, this is actually starting to go parabolic. So you can see here's overall healthy trend. And then what happened over the past week is this is starting to speed up relative to that prior trend, right? You can see it's starting to take off. So basically, if you're long, if you own Litecoin, you just want to be dialed in here. And we can run some extensions. It's kind of hard to find targets in a market that's doing this, but if we run some just kind of basic extensions here, we can come up with some anticipatory areas where we would expect a pullback. So I think obviously like $90 is a round number, 90 to 100. I think if we say in the next, just imagine 2 or 3 more green candles here that got us to somewhere in between 90 to 100. I think that would be a great place to look to scale out. Or if it blasts right through it, just use the no regrets management strategy on that. So that's one that's just been, again, if you focus on alts, I think historically the best plan is to try to focus more on the most liquid ones, which is why we really just focus on the top 10 to 20 on a daily basis. And then if there's kind of an early accumulator or something that looks promising, we'll look at those. But so that's Litecoin. MCO is another one that we kind of had our eye on. But, again, some of these smaller ones, you're going to get these fake out breakouts or the breakouts where they just don't last very long. So like here, you can see the run minus the retracement. And if we run the extension, you can see it tagged that 100% extension and then reversed right off of it very quickly. So this is why, like for those of you that were trading with us in the spring, when I was like trading GNT and some of these smaller ones let me try to squeeze this, on some of these breakouts, like this is not one that I was going to hold forever. I was taking profit into these pops. Same with like NAV. So NAV just popped yesterday and today, but back here again in the spring we were kind of quicker to exit some of these smaller ones, and now NAV is back on the table. Fresh breakout, really above any recent price action. I'm not going to chase this. Yesterday we actually had a nice breakout on that. I didn't get a fill because we've been really busy working on the trading room and all that. But again, you can see just really, really clean breakout here. So if we run the extension from the start, you can see we tagged the 100% extension. And then what that did though is it pulled back to retest that breakout level. And then that held and gave us another breakout. So for those of you that are in this, notice how we're actually getting a lot of selling pressure here at the 200% extension. So in between that 168 and the 200, that's kind of the next profit target there. And that's why selling's coming in. So congrats to you guys that caught that. Again, I didn't get in this one, but beautiful. And I know Rocky said he was up about 40% on his Ethereum trade, or ETC, I should say, to be clear. If we take a look at the USD, you can kind of see the comparison here. I'll go back to a daily chart. Nice breakout kind of mid-range. You can see what happened. We had long-term accumulation. We had a squeeze into support. And then once it started to squeeze outside of that, basically a short squeeze. Anybody that was short that was covering. So I'm still just kind of holding my long-term position. I didn't add anything on ETC today. And then, still just kind of holding some longer-term positions. BCH, haven't made any changes to that. Let's look at USD here. You can see, when we were at the mastermind, we took some profit up here. Took about a third off. And then, you can see we've done kind of a stair-step retracement. So if we look initially, we kind of stair-step to the 50, and then now more trading action down around the 61. And you can see this is ramping up. So if we're going to do another extension of this, run to the upside, pull back on a breakout, if we're able to take out that prior high, I think 1200 would be the next area for a slowdown. So I'm going to be holding for 1200 on BCH. So I'll just add that here. Next target equals 100% extension at $1,200. And then we'll say Litecoin starting to go parabolic. So look to take some profit on that. CFI, again, small position, just holding. And so that's it, guys. I'm going to wrap up the video for the market update. And then because it's Friday, we're going to take some time to do some Q&A. Rocky's going to come on and we'll answer any questions that you guys have had about either the live market action or any lessons or anything that you guys need help with. So